Yesterday, Senate Republicans elected leaders to steer our incoming majority through the 119th Congress. Senator Thune, Senator Barrasso, Senator Cotton, Senator Capito, Senator Langford, and Senator Tim Scott have earned the trust and support of their colleagues. I'd like to congratulate each of them and reiterate that the entire Republican Congress stands united and ready to tackle the important work of the country. As I've said before, I'm very much looking forward to taking on this next chapter from a different seat here on the floor. But before the year is out, I'd like to continue thanking the many individuals and teams who have served this institution so well during my time as Republican leader. I've had the privilege of working with consummate experts and relying on the professionalism of so many unsung heroes. Take the office of the Sergeant at Arms. Under the leadership of a distinguished career Army officer, Karen Gibson, and with the deep bicameral experience of senior staff like Jennifer Hemingway, the SAA shoulders enormous responsibilities, from the day-to-day security procedures to telecommunications infrastructure. I'm particularly grateful to the staff's OB, the Protocol Office, whose work helps us navigate the most solemn and visible occasions, the Chief Information Office, Telecom, and Help Desk, who keep essential communications and technology across the Senate running smoothly. Capitol Facilities, including Gary "Tiny" Richardson, who clean and maintain this magnificent building and the campus around it with unfailing care. The Employee Assistance Program, who help dedicated public servants around the Senate access important resources. The doorkeepers and press gallery, who carefully control access to this chamber and make constituents feel welcome here in the Capitol. The appointments desk, who greet and direct a steady stream of distinguished visitors, in particular Patty Riley, who's made a habit of sharing a daily word of motivation with my Chief of Staff. The Senate Recording Studio and Photo Studio, who capture the Senate for posterity, and the offices of printing, graphics, and direct mail and state office operations, who put Senate business within reach for the American people. And the Office of Security, Emergency Preparedness, and Continuity, whose careful attention, training, and planning ensure that the Senate is able to discharge its constitutional duties even under the most trying circumstances. So to everyone whose work under the Sergeant at Arms keeps the Senate safe and operating smoothly, thank you very much. Now, every day, my team also relies on the work of several more teams working under the leadership of the Secretary of the Senate. Ann Berry and her professional staff, like Sydney Butler. Stretching from here on the floor to outposts across the Senate campus, the Secretary's office is involved in a dizzying array of critical operations. I'd like to thank the staffs of the Senate Library, who collect and maintain a rich archive of institutional knowledge and help senators and staff tap into it. The Senate Historical Office, the Office of the Senate Curator, and the Office of Conservation and Preservation, including the Frame Shop, who dedicate deep expertise to understanding the Senate's history and maintaining its home here in the Capitol for posterity. The Office of Senate Security, who maintain our ability to conduct oversight and address highly sensitive matters of national security here in the Capitol. The Office of Interparliamentary Services, particularly Sally Walsh, who support Senate delegations and conferences abroad. The Office of Printing and Document Services, the Daily Digest, and the Office of Captioning Services, who carefully transcribe, format, and preserve Senate proceedings and make them accessible to all Americans. The stationery room and the Senate gift shop, who keep every office supply closet well stocked and other mementos for other occasions. The dispersing office, who diligently process all the Senate compensation and patiently answer all manner of staff questions. The faculty and staff of the Page School, under the leadership of Principal Joshua Dorsey, who make the Page program such an enriching experience for bright, aspiring public servants throughout the year. And of course, the Secretary's most visible teams here on the Senate floor. From our formidable parliamentarian, Elizabeth McDonough, and her capable team, Lee Hildebrand, Christy Amados, and Josh Moscow. Our bill clerk, Lindsay Gibmeyer, and her team, Brian Leffords, Mark Amato, and Emily Harris. Enrolling clerk, Cassie Bird, along with Alice Lasky. Executive clerk, Rachel Creviston, along with Alana Skalsky and Grace Ferrari. Journal clerk, Megan Pickle, along with Adam Gottlieb and Skylar Mansell. And our dulcet-toned legislative clerks, John Marino and Marianne Clarkson. So to all of you who devote yourselves to the important work of the Secretary's office, thank you so much. There are, of course, still many more proud members of the Senate family who deserve our thanks, including the youngest members of the institution. So, Mr. President, if I may speak directly to our impressive class of pages here on the floor, it's not easy throwing a full-time job on top of full-time schoolwork. And if we are so grateful for your interest in public service and for all you do to keep this place humming. We're glad you're here, and we'll be proud to watch as you step into careers of leadership and service. I also want to thank Chaplain Black, Barry Black, and his staff, including Suzanne Chappis, an honorary member of the McTeam, who tend with grace and care to the spiritual needs of a flock who so often carry heavy weights, as well as the staffs of the architect of the Capitol, who manage the many moving pieces of an ancient building and its many occupants. The Rules Committee, who oversee the protocol that keeps the Senate a safe and smoothing functioning environment for conducting the American people's business. The Congressional Budget Office, the Congressional Research Office, whose work informs many of the most consequential votes we cast. The Office of Legislative Counsel, who work often in demanding circumstances under tight deadlines to put the will of the Senate and the nation on paper. The Office of Senate Legal Counsel and the Chief Counsel for Employment, whose sober assessments and reliable representation are a tremendous asset to the members and staff of the Article I branch. The Office of Attending Physician, whose care helps the Senate meet mundane ailments and grave public health challenges alike. The Food Service Program, who feed thousands of daily meals, both delicious and nutritious, and greet staff and visitors alike with a smile. And the Training and Development Office, who help cultivate professional excellence among Senate staff at all stages of their careers. Now, I could go on thanking the outstanding members of the Senate staff a good while longer, and in the coming weeks, I will. But for today, I'll close with the men and women who form the Senate's first line of defense, the U.S. Capitol Police, and in particular the Senate Division, make all of the other work we do possible. They ensure the senators and their staff can work in safety, that members of the public can visit in safety, and that this institution carries on in the face of very real threats to its security. As I look back on my time in party leadership, I'm particularly grateful for the devoted service of the members of the Dignitary Protection Division who safeguard the continuity of our government by surrounding me and other senior leaders with around-the-clock security. Sometimes it's meant spending long hours on the road. Other times it's meant making split-second decisions that avert danger. And in every case, I've been so fortunate to have these professionals on duty. So to members of my detail, past and present, to members of the Senate Division here in the chamber and across the campus, and to the entire force of the Capitol Police, my staff and I are deeply grateful for your service and your sacrifice. So as I said, Mr. President, the work of thanking the outstanding staff who have made my job easier over the years continues. I'll look forward to paying tribute to more of them very soon.